But it was only because Adam Schefter blew his cover, but that's another story.
Well, that's what we're going to talk about, because instead, Tom Brady finds himself back out on the gridiron this season. And this week he was over in Pittsburgh. And I don't know if you saw, Mia, but things got a little dicey headed towards halftime because Brady got angry. He was pissed off. See, Tom Brady's offensive line was just a little bit sluggish. They went into halftime without a touchdown in a game that they would ultimately lose 20-18. And with the final seconds ticking off the clock in the half, he had some choice words for his offensive linemen. They entered week 6, ranked 21st in the NFL with just over 20.5 points per game and 20th with 337 yards per game. Tom Brady, Mia, this is not quite looking like the honeymoon that he was hoping for and what could be his swan song. What do you make of this little blow up from TB12 here?
Can I read for you the Buccaneers depth chart?
I would love for you to.
Left tackle, Donovan Smith. Cool. Backup, Josh Wells. Once upon a time, a Jacksonville Jaguar. Great. Old friend alert. On IR. He is the backup at left tackle as well as at right tackle. Luke Godke, rookie out of Central Michigan, left guard. That's because Aaron Stinney, the starter at left guard, done for the year. Robert Hainsey, center. The third string center for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because Ryan Jensen went down during training camp, is now your starter. Shaq Mason, right guard. That one was an original. And then, of course, my guy, longtime friend, Tristan Wirfs, who I
close personal friend of the program.
Close personal friend. His mom still follows me on Twitter. Maybe she's watching this show right now. Hey, I see a Go Hawkeyes on here on our comments. So listen, man. But yeah, no, close personal friend of the program, Tristan Wirfs. Love to get him on at some point. That's really when you look at this. Like, yeah, Shaq Mason's there, and like, yeah, Haney's like holding up. But in reality, when you look at this offensive line, this is not the offensive line that Tom Brady came back to play behind.
And that's exactly it, right? He didn't sign up for this mess.
Like, this is what you signed up for because you knew this was a risk going in. This is probably why your wife is leaving you. Because you knew that this could happen. I know it doesn't happen in Tom Brady world because everything always works out for him. But the fact of the matter is that it could happen. And it did happen. And in the span of 3 weeks of training camp, all of a sudden he's staring down the barrel of lining up behind a bunch of rookies and longtime journeymen. And that is what's happening. And moreover, when you have Leonard Fournette, who obviously in the run game was a little bit more successful yesterday against Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh's run defense ain't that good, but who had 3 yards total a few weeks ago. And I understand he apologized to his fantasy owners, and that's great. Also a friend of the program. But the fact of the matter is that, it wasn't going to be sunshine and rainbows because there was always an opportunity that this could possibly happen.
But is it possible that Brady has lived in this world of sunshine and rainbows for so long that he perhaps became enchanted with the idea of, I didn't win in what was supposed to be my last season. I need to go out on the note that I should have probably gone out on 2 years prior. My question ultimately is, Mia, is Tom Brady too old for this shit?
No, Tom Brady's not, but the rest of his team is, and it's a team sport. And if he thought he himself at 45 years old was going to overcome that, he's got another thing coming for him. I kind of wish that I was doing this podcast right now in my workout room / guest bedroom, because my mom got me this awesome yoga, cloth, poster thing that talks about karma. And that's kind of what we're seeing.
That seems like something Brady would be into also.
Yes, exactly. I'm sure it's on the TB12 diet somewhere. But yeah, the fact of the matter is that, it hasn't happened in his 2 years in Tampa Bay. It didn't happen a lot in his, 20 years in New England. But guess what? It's happening now. And so there was always a chance.
Let's talk about this, though. You just mentioned a whole bunch of young offensive linemen. How do you think they're feeling if they're getting reamed out by the GOAT and dad is yelling at you? He's like, guys, I told you to take the trash out. You didn't do it. And now spanking's coming. Get it together. Get out there and protect my ass. You got to feel like those guys out there are probably a little intimidated by Tom Brady.
I see a Go Hawks in the chat, so I don't know if I should be saying this, but this program is called Out of Bounds after all, so I'm going to say it anyways. Tristan Wirfs was coached by Chris Doyle, so he's dealt with a lot of tough love in his life.
I understand him, but there's some other people.
I hate to say it, I'm just saying. I mean, there are some guys that grew up in that tough love environment that it only gets them going more. I
Well,
can't
it's
speak
just
for
because
any of those
Brady
guys,
is
but
this big mythical figure, right? Tom
yeah.
Brady, like everyone's like
Half of his offensive
he's so
line
great.
like were in diapers when he came into the league. But yes,
Right.
continue.
Sure. But he's this big mythical figure that everyone romanticizes. And sure, there are people who know that he is privately probably a little eccentric. We call that G-tarian in this house. But at the same time, seeing that in the public facade, very few times have we ever seen something like that from Tom Brady with a camera right in his face, losing his cool.
I'll bring up what they played it on SportsCenter a few weeks ago of Peyton Manning lighting into Jeff Saturday, and I believe this was like year 4 or year 5 of them being together. And I think they're still friends. I think they both went on to win a Super Bowl a couple months later, went to a couple more AFC Championship games. So personally, I didn't see anything wrong with it. Maybe that's the Midwest hardening me. But yeah, I didn't. Whatever, man. Like, he's just frustrated because he doesn't have an offensive line in front of him, and he wanted to vocalize it. I don't know. He's an old man. He's going to yell at clouds too. Like, get used to it, people. He's 45 years old. So it is what it is.
Well, Mia, we got about 7 more minutes here, and we got one more topic to hit on.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us all about? Because I know when you saw this, you were all about this.
Oh, I watched it live, and I'm not going to lie, John. As I was watching the NLDS last week between the Padres and the Dodgers, and the Padres were in command, and then all of a sudden, there's a goose. Or was it a duck? We don't know.
I think that's a goose.
Sort of bird.
I think, look at the size.
It looks like the weird birds that I sometimes see in downtown Jacksonville, except they have more of a red beak. And so it just appeared on the field, and multiple at-bats passed, and the duck was unaware. The ball went right past him, went down in between. It split the first and the second baseman.
You're assuming it's gender right now, just for the record.
I am. It's they. Fine. Okay. They, the duck. The goose.
They, the goose.
They, the duck, the goose. So it split the first and second baseman. He sat there. He was unflinched. And then finally Gavin Lux roped one, and then he finally made a move. But yes, I'm not going to lie, John. I don't know how you were feeling in the moment, but I was like, if the Dodgers somehow pull this off right here with the goose, like, we are about to see a new pop cultural phenomenon.
Well, the Padres were like, ha ha, the goose cursed you, Dodgers. Okay. So now the Padres are the ones embracing the goose. And they now have
they got somebody on base though while the goose was on the field.
They did. Oh, but they were saying, that they were able to use the juju of the goose to maintain that lead and win this series in tremendous fashion, which, by the way, that NLCS between the Padres and the Phillies is just so remarkable in and of itself. But I do want to say that we have seen many, many rally animals over the years. You remember the rally monkey with the Angels in 2002?
I do.
So if I were to put you on the spot and you had to pick between a rally goose or a rally monkey representing your team, Mia O'Brien.
Monkey.
You're picking the monkey. Why are you picking the monkey?
I was born in the year of the monkey, 1992.
Okay.
I have an affinity for them. You know what I really would pick, though? My animal that I've always had an interest in, but since I moved into my house here in wonderful Northeast Florida, and I live closer to the beach, I see a lot of them. It's my mom's favorite animal, and that's the frog.
I don't think we've had any frog.
I really want a rally frog.
I could be wrong.
That's next for me.
A rally frog. See, I like the goose because the goose represents me in my essence. I'm a very easygoing guy. I sit where I like to sit. I'm not bothered by the things going on around me. Some might even argue I'm oblivious to the things going on around me, much like Rally Goose. And I believe that Rally Goose could play an integral role in getting this Padres team to believe.
If you want to see all our videos about real news stories that are funny, stupid, or weird, click the subscribe button below. Otherwise, we'll start posting spoilers about your favorite new movies.